In the heart of the Outback, a crown of fire rises. The male marks his kingdom with a cry. His dance is a primal rhythm, a display of strength meant to conquer the vast, silent, arid wilderness. A female arrives. She is the judge, observing from a distance to evaluate his vigor and his domain. A silent bond is sealed. They share a brief touch, a promise to face the trials of life together. She takes flight alone, scanning the ancient eucalyptus timber for a fortress where her legacy might find sanctuary. Below, a monitor lizard waits in the dust, a reminder that life here begins in the shadow of death. Sensing the threat, she retreats upward. Security is found only in the heights, far from the reach of hunger. She surveys the arid expanse, searching for a hollow deep enough to hide a life yet to be born. A threshold is found. She peers into the darkness, a void that must soon become a warm, safe cradle. Inside, she inspects the dust. The air is still a secret chamber waiting for the long journey starting today. She clings to the bark, testing the wood. Every crack is measured before she commits her future to it. An intruder skitters past. In this cramped world, even a spider is a sign of the hollow's hidden vulnerability. Below, the lizard returns, circling the trunk. The predator is persistent, a shadow that never truly fades away. Safety is a moving target. She scans the horizon, her instincts sharpening as the season of life rapidly approaches. Using her beak as a limb, she climbs. Mastery over gravity is her only defense against the earthbound hunters. She inspects the dust once more. This hollow is quiet, a sacred space hidden deep within the tree's heart. Preparation begins. She clears the debris, casting out the old to make room for the fragile and the new. She shapes the basin with her own body. The cradle is ready for its silent, life-bearing, and difficult purpose. A gust of wind roars through the canopy. The forest is loud, but inside a heavy stillness takes hold. She settles. The hunt for a home is over. Now, the long wait for the next generation finally begins. The internal struggle begins. Muscle and instinct combine to bring forth the first spark of a new life. A perfect white oval rests in the dust. It is the most fragile thing in this harsh, unforgiving landscape. Soon, a cluster appears. Each egg is a promise that requires her constant, unwavering warmth to keep alive. She becomes a living shield, her world shrinking to the size of this dark, wooden, and silent chamber. Time stretches thin. She remains motionless, her body a furnace burning through its own reserves for her young. Precision is vital. She rotates the eggs, ensuring the heat of life reaches every corner of the shell. Midday heat turns the hollow into an oven. She pants, balancing her own survival against her maternal duty. She lifts her body to allow air to circulate. Even a degree's difference can mean life or death here. A storm strikes the canopy. While branches scream outside, she presses tighter, anchored by the weight of instinct. The storm fades, leaving a tense silence. She listens to the forest, ever watchful for the next threat. Danger arrives without a sound. A green snake tastes the air, its scales whispering against the sun-bleached edge. The predator advances. Inside, the mother rises. Her beak is a weapon. Her spirit is a wall of defiance. The strike is blindingly fast. She meets the intruder with a fury born of an ancient, protective drive. Feathers flare and jaws snap. In the cramped darkness, she drives the serpent back into the open air. The threat retreats, but the piece is hollow. She collapses onto her eggs, her heart still racing wildly. Then a new sound. A rhythmic tapping from within the shell signals that the long wait is ending. The first hatchling emerges. It is pink, blind, and utterly dependent on the bird that just fought for it. A pile of fragile life now fills the nest. They are the future, but they are incredibly weak. The first meal is delivered. This bond of regurgitated life is the only thing keeping the darkness away. She covers them with her wings. The struggle has shifted from the egg to the living, breathing chick. Life is born into scarcity. Beneath her feathers, a desperate and silent struggle for position begins today. Every feeding is a battle. The mother provides, but she does not choose who receives the most. Strength is the only currency here. The larger chicks surge forward, driven by a hunger that knows no mercy. One chick is slower. It is smaller, its movements hesitant, already losing ground in the race for life. The divide grows. While the strong feast, the weak are pushed to the cold, dusty edges of existence. In the darkness of the hollow, nature's hierarchy is established. Space and food are limited and precious. The smallest chick calls out, but its voice is drowned by the robust cries of its thriving siblings. It is left uncovered. As the mother settles over the strong, the weak are pushed into the shadows. Another frantic feeding cycle begins. The jostling becomes violent, a desperate scrum for a chance to grow. The weak chick reaches the edge. The floor of the hollow slopes downward, toward a void of uncertainty. A final slip. In the silence of the night, the smallest life vanishes, reclaimed by the indifferent forest. Those who remain grow faster now. They inherit the space and the portions of the sibling they lost. The mother covers the survivors. In the wild, there is no time for mourning, only for the living. Down begins to thicken. Beneath her warmth, the chicks are transforming, their bodies hardening for the world outside. She watches the entrance. The loss of one has increased the odds for the rest. This is nature. Time passes in a blur of white down. The chicks are no longer pink. They are becoming cockatoos. Feeding is now an aggressive affair. They demand more, their voices growing louder as their strength finally peaks. Pin feathers emerge like needles. These are the foundations of flight, the tools they will need to escape. The hollow is crowded. They climb over one another, practicing the movements they will soon need for survival. The mother stands above them now. Her job is nearly done. The cradle is slowly becoming a cage. An eye opens. For the first time, the hatchling sees the light of the world beyond the wood. It tracks the movement of the leaves. The world is a kaleidoscope of danger and beckoning wide open spaces. A beak tests the wall. The rough bark is the first texture of a world it must master. Sudden noise. A distant call triggers a primitive response. They freeze, becoming part of the shadows themselves. The mother returns. She is the link to the sky, a silhouette of what they are meant to be. High above, a hawk patrols. Its eyes are far sharper than theirs, searching for any sign of movement. The light at the entrance dims. The shadow of the predator passes, and the nest falls deathly silent. Instinct takes command. They press their bodies flat, disappearing into the dust of their own wooden home. Total stillness. In this moment, the ability to do nothing is the most important skill they possess. The danger passes, and life resumes. But the lesson is learned. The world is always watching. Curiosity pulls them forward. A juvenile approaches the rim, the vastness of the outback finally within reach. It teeters on the edge. The wind is a physical force, tugging at feathers that have never flown. Behind it, a sibling pushes. The sanctuary of the nest is no longer enough to hold them both. The view is terrifyingly beautiful. Trees stretch for miles, a sea of green and gray under a burning sun. Their eyes struggle to adjust to the speed of the world. Everything outside moves faster than the hollow. Wings extend experimentally. They beat the air, steering the dust of a childhood that is ending today. A gust strikes. The juvenile sways, claws digging deep into the bark as it nearly loses its balance. Panic flares. It flaps wildly, realizing for the first time that the air is not a solid thing. Above, the shadow returns. The hawk has spotted the commotion at the entrance. The hunt is on. They retreat into the depths one last time. The next time they move, there will be no retreat. The moment of truth. The juvenile leans out, the wind screaming through its developing, untested flight feathers. It commits. Claws let go, and for a heartbeat, there is only the terrifying pull of the earth. Gravity takes hold. It tumbles, wings beating a frantic, uncoordinated rhythm against the rushing, invisible air. A branch strikes. It spins, nearly crashing into the understory before a desperate flap rights its course. It clings to a lower limb, gasping. It has survived the fall, but it is far from safe. Its sibling joins it. They are exposed now, sitting ducks in the middle of a vast, open canopy. They sit in a stunned silence. They have left the fortress, and the forest feels infinitely larger. A rush of air. A shadow descends like a stone. The hawk has made its final lethal move. One heartbeat, a blur of talons and white feathers. The outback claims its due as flight is cut short. The branch is empty. A few feathers drift toward the floor. The price of survival has been paid. The survivor is alone. It must learn to feed or follow its sibling into the quiet earth. It fumbles with the seed pod. The tools are there, but the skill must be forged in hunger. A lizard rushes. The bird recoils, flying just high enough to escape the snapping, hungry jaws below. It climbs higher. Each narrow escape is a lesson. Each successful bite a victory in this world. It watches the sky. The hawk is still there, a permanent fixture in the architecture of its fear. Weeks pass. The juvenile is now a subadult. Its flight is no longer a struggle, but a grace. It glides over the canopy, a white ghost in the golden light of an ancient, unforgiving land. It cracks a seed with ease. The mists of childhood have cleared, replaced by the steel of experience. It stands on a high branch, fanning a crest that now glows with the fire of the survivors. The sun sets on a lone bird. It is not a victory, but a continuation. The cycle begins again.